Sometimes we take for granted the hard work and dedication put into making a video game. It's not easy, and there's a huge demand to hit deadlines, so you can't really blame the developers for a few bugs. Sometimes a programming error can make a game impossible to complete, but on the other hand, glitches that defy the laws of physics can be a great source of entertainment. Poor Isaac Newton would be turning in his grave if he ever saw this list of the top 10 glitches from 10 extremely popular video games. Number 10. Fallout 4. Fallout is a post-apocalyptic RPG with a 1950s aesthetic, and it's been a long-running gamer favorite since 1997. The fourth in the series was popular enough to bring in $750 million on its launch day. But the only thing better than nostalgic gaming fuel is finding that coveted glitch that allows you to gain infinite XP, health, or in-game currency. This glitch in Fallout 4 requires no sketchy downloads or mom credit card numbers. Players have discovered that dropping items and then immediately pressing square, quickly holding circle, and then pressing X results in you doubling your resources. Now go ahead and use them to build an army of baseball player statues. Doing this gives you around 30 XP a pop, and you can do it as much as you like. 3 years later, Fallout 76 was released, and it was a train wreck of glitches. Needless to say, a lot of people wanted their money back, but that proved more difficult than fighting Liberty Prime, as fans were greeted with a strict no refund policy. It was so bad, in fact, that an investigation was opened into the company's practices. People rightly asked how the developers of such a beloved series could let this happen. Could it mean an apocalyptic end to the Fallout franchise? Number 9. Red Dead Redemption 2. Giddy up on that steed and let's get on and pan for that gold now. Yeah! No? Okay. Well, Red Dead Redemption came out in May of 2010 with its second release in October 2018. Red Dead is a Western-style game in a third-person open-world environment playable on PlayStation and Xbox. Hey Rockstar Studios, we're still waiting for a PC release. Please, partner? Rockstar Games announced that Red Dead Redemption 2 had the largest opening weekend in the history of entertainment, with over $725 million in 3 days. But with an open-world game this big, there's usually glitches. Oh, and there were a lot. Oh my god, what is happening to his arms? This fight might take a while, but what it doesn't do is increase your gold bars. For that, you need another glitch. First, go to an abandoned sheriff station, save the game, and return to the same spot. This tricks the game into letting you take infinite gold bars from the box. Using this trick, you can get 15 grand of gold bars in one go. Let's hope no bratty kids steal it. Number 8. Hello Neighbor. Hello Neighbor was developed by Dynamic Pixels. Essentially, your character moves into a house and notices suspicious things happening through the window of his neighbor's home. You suspect that your weird Russian neighbor, with a home clearly breaking some building codes, is kidnapping people. So you have to break into his house and attempt to get to the basement. While this game has glitches, it doesn't have all that many. Just a lot of weird platforming mechanics. But then there's the Aladdin glitch, which allows you to ride the trash can into the sky like a magic carpet. By squatting in the trash can and jumping repeatedly, you get raised into the air. This glitch helps avoid all that tedious box stacking and bypasses a few puzzles. Not to mention that you can use said trash can to glitch past your game's boundaries and see the generic, sometimes floating homes that sit in the distance. See you later, neighbor! Number 7. The Walking Dead Season 2. This game had been close to both our hearts and our delicious brains since the first installment in 2012. The game covers 4 seasons with a spin-off between 2 and 3. Each season was released over time, adding to the anticipation. The Walking Dead games mainly focus on a girl named Clementine, as she's swept up into a world in the grip of a zombie apocalypse. The player is presented with choices of dialogue or action that determine the rest of the story, affecting everything from your personal relationships to whether or not you get eaten alive by the living dead. But getting to the real meat of why you're here, glitches. Clementine's facial expressions regularly glitch out in all manner of unexpected ways. This coding error makes her face flash back and forth from grim to surprised to happy, which makes for a jarring contrast with The Walking Dead's harrowing storyline. Number 6. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Skyrim is a fantasy game in a medieval type setting with dragons and orcs. The non-linear gameplay allows the player to go at their own pace and choose which quests they want to take on. That is, until they take an arrow to the knee. This kind of free-roaming game has always been known to produce lots of funny glitches and non-playable characters. But that didn't stop Skyrim from being one of the best-selling games out there, despite a bit of foul play from the developers. Yes, chickens. There's a glitch in Skyrim that creates huge ones. This occurrence isn't too common, but I love it when it happens, and some practical yokers have even tried to improve on it. The original glitch only made the chicken large in size, leaving all stats and speed alone. But some innovative gamers have made mods that allow them to ride around on the chicken like a horse. Poultry in motion. Number 5. Detroit Become Human. This game has recently been praised as one of the most innovative games to date. The plot follows 3 androids in a world where everyone has robots as assistants, friends, and slaves. The androids become sentient and fight for equality. The game has an insane number of endings, some estimate around 40 distinct finales. With so many versions, there's bound to be a few bugs. Bug eyes in this instance. This glitch decides eyelids aren't necessary, or that eyeballs are the only thing that matters. The reason this happens might be an attempt to save memory and CPU usage, so the game will load a low poly count version of a model. This should only happen when the camera is far away, but sometimes these models are loaded when they shouldn't be. Whatever the reason, this glitch sure makes for a good laugh. Number 4. Spyro Reignited. Spyro Reignited is a collection of remasters of the first 3 original games released between 1998 and 2000. It's a platformer where you play as a feisty dragon named Spyro, who's often getting himself into all kinds of scrapes. In 2018, the trilogy of games was re-released with a lot fewer glitches and was looking a lot better than before. But it wasn't perfect. There's a boat ride in the game run by a character showman Norm. After talking to him, Spyro will automatically go and jump on an empty boat. But in this glitch, everything goes downhill. Sometimes an occupied boat stops and Spyro launches past it through the air to the empty one, and other times the friendly dragon just disappears. Other times the player gets stuck in a hellish, never-ending loop. All kinds of things go wrong in this section. Some say this glitch is a problem with the model's animation, and it makes the boat ride frustrating and completely unplayable for some gamers. Meh, but who needs boats anyway when you have wings? Number 3. Call of Duty Black Ops. Everyone knows the Call of Duty games published by Activision, but in case you're out of the loop, the first-person shooter is one of the most popular games in history, with a long list of titles and spin-offs making the franchise worth over $11 billion. Look into any 12-year-old boy's gaming collection and you're bound to find one of these. Then again, sometimes it seems like the developers are 12-year-old boys as well. It's common for some glitches to stretch a soldier into some weird shapes, but this one is the stuff of nightmares. As if these characters don't have enough on their plate already, what with being shot at all the time. Other glitches include packages landing too far away and loopholes that let you speed through the game. So, why have the developers not been able to get rid of all of them? So far they've just been banning players who exploit them, but maybe they'd do well to remember the old phrase, don't hate the player, hate the game. Number 2. SpiderMan. Do I really need to explain this one? You swing around and fight crime and in the process delve into a touching and heartfelt story. Surprisingly, there weren't a whole lot of glitches, despite the difficult mechanic of web swinging. But there was one that really stood out. In the older Spider-Man games, you couldn't go into the water. Spider-Man just didn't know how to swim, I guess. Now, not only has he learned how to swim, but he's even learned how to somersault on water. By climbing up to a tall building and attempting a cannonball into the water, you too can put the amazing back into the Amazing Spider-Man. But what's less amazing is those scary low poly characters in the boat off in the distance. They're farther off than where you're supposed to be, so there's no need to be detailed. But if you happen upon these monstrosities in your exploration, just back away slowly. Now before we get to my favorite glitch, it's time for a few honorable mentions. Life is Strange by Square Enix. Now when I say Life is Strange, I mean it. Especially when the players intentionally sabotage the game by spaghettifying into bizarre shapes. Hitman 2. The lock-on function in the game is cool, but evolving that into a homing briefcase is purely revolutionary. James Bond could do with one of these. Battlefield 3. In this other well-known first-person shooter franchise, players glitch into worms that shoot from their butts. Victory is ours. Nice. Now onto the top glitch. Number 1. Fortnite. The survival shooter that's more colorful than PUBG and has spawned countless cringy dances and memes. Since the game came out in 2017 from Epic Games, it's taken over the gaming industry and turned into one of the most popular esports. In August of 2018, Epic Games says 78.3 million people played Fortnite. And with that many players, you're bound to find some epic glitches. Some are easier to spot than others, like suddenly becoming a giant and giving away your position. The player can't see themselves as a giant, but other players can. Clever gamers figured out how to do this by setting up a contraption of bounce pads and a turret. Basically, bounce and then enter the turret without touching the floor, and then shoot the turret to half XP. Then touch the wall bounce pad and enter the turret quickly. Destroy the turret and you'll be a giant. But if being a huge target isn't your thing, it's easier to hide with a glitch that forces you to lie low. Apparently, it's achieved on playground mode by driving an ATK off the map and hitting the C on the side. You'll then respawn on your side. But if lying low isn't your thing, you can just blow everything up around you. To become the juggernaut like this, just break the quad crasher while boosting. Or you want to really commit, just bypass the whole thing and glitch your way under the map and target players from there. That is, if you don't mind getting banned. Perhaps you could just admire nature, although something's even happened to those trees. I know they're meant to sway in the wind, but come on now. So, do you think glitches are always a bad thing? Or do you think they sometimes add an entertaining aspect to the game? And are there any I've missed out? Let me know in the comments section down below, and thanks for watching.